Hey y'all, Hunter Elliott, rangehot.com. Hope you're doing well. This afternoon I am finalizing my review of the Wesson Vigil. This particular gun is a 5-inch government model, chambered in .45 automatic. It can also be had in 9mm. It can also be had in a commander size 4¼ inch gun, so you got a little bit of options there as far as size and caliber. Before we get any further, I want to show you the 8-round detachable box magazine is out. I've locked the slide to the rear. I've ensured the gun is empty, so we know it's safe to talk about, but I've still got it pointed down range. Now look here, y'all. I'm in North Carolina, and I'm going to be straight with you. It's hot as damn fish grease out here, so I'm going to try to get through this without sweating through my shirt, but just kind of bear with me because, man, good Lord, it's warm. Anyway, all right. The show must go on. Got this little pistol in probably several months ago. Myself, several of my friends, we've really been taking our time with it. We got just a touch over 400 rounds down range with a gun. Throughout that trial, we didn't have any kind of malfunctions or misfeeds through the various types of ammunition that we ran, from just .230 ball to several different types of defensive ammunition. The overall length on this pistol is 8.6 inches. It is running a 5-inch match grade barrel. The width is just under 1.5 inches. The weight comes in empty at 37.8 ounces. Now that's actually pretty light. As comparison, the Specialist that I did a review not too long ago comes in at 42.3 ounces. And incidentally, I've still been running that test sample after the review, and the Specialist has still been 100% no problem. MSRP on this pistol is $1,298, which for a Wesson is not bad, and as you know, street price is going to be better than that. Now, we'll get into this real quick, as we always do. People talk about, man, these Wesson pistols are expensive. And they are. I'm not going to lie to you. There are cheaper guns out there to be had, for sure. Are they going to be as reliable and as accurate? Maybe. I don't know. However, I know that anything that I buy that I might have to use to defend myself with, I'm going to try to stack that deck in favor for me as best I can. And I know buying a well-built, well-fit pistol with all steel parts, no mem, no cast, you're giving yourself a little bit more margin of error, in my opinion. So, hey, look here, y'all. It's time and material, and that ain't cheap. So, you know, if you want a nice gun, you kind of got to pay for it. But with Wessons, I still feel like it's a pretty good bargain for what you get. So let's go over some of the features of the pistol. It's got a wonderful set of sights on it. It's got kind of a plain rear sight with this ledge here that allow you to, if you had to rack the slide one-handed off a table ledge or your belt, no problem on that. The rear sight is drift adjustable. You got a little set screw here. You can loosen that, starboard or port, whatever you need. It does have a white front sight that is also a night sight, and that contrasts really nicely against this rear sight. Now, a lot of people like a 3-dot setup. Now this this front sight, it's got the really nice bright white outline and that plain black rear sight. I like that a whole lot because my eyes are drawn right to that front sight. Also, this rear sight here on the rear face is nicely serrated, and that'll help keep any kind of glare off of your sights if you're running this in bright light or overhead or what have you. It's a very traditional looking 1911, even though it is an aluminum receiver. We're going to touch on that a little bit later. Coming in here to the trigger, as expected, it's a Wesson 1911 trigger. It's a wonderful trigger, very little take up, a little bit of over travel, braking pretty clean, just over 4.5 pounds as measured from my Lyman mechanical gauge. And that's about where I'd want a carry gun trigger to be. The front and rear strap is also very nicely serrated, as are these beautiful wooden stocks. And I want to point that out because since this gun is right much lighter than what your all steel 1911 would be, it's going to make itself a little more conducive for ease of carry. However, some people mentioned that, wow, it is really light when they would pick it up. I had a couple people complain about the recoil. You know, you got a heavy gun out there, it is going to help soak up some of that perceived recoil. So this gun being a little bit lighter, you know, if you don't have a lot of upper body strength, or if your technique maybe be off a little bit, your recoil mitigation may be a little bit worse on this gun. Nothing that can be worked around with a little bit of range time, understanding what you're working with. I think it's a fantastic setup for a carry gun, and the fact that everybody that picked it up was like, wow, this is a really light pistol, and most everybody was able to manage it pretty well. it's worth noting. Coming up here, it's got just a standard type grip safety, and then your skeletonized speed hammer. It's also serrated here on the end. The single-sided thumb safety is extended, and it's nicely serrated here, so when you're trying to get some traction on that with your thumb, be it if you're hot, sweaty, gloved, whatever, you can find it and get that swept off and on. And then the slide stop, slide release is also serrated. That's about the long and the short of the features of the gun. Now, we got it out, shot some groups with it out at 25 yards, 3-shot groups from a rest, pretty standard. And the gun was averaging between 2 and 2.5 inches. Best group of the day was 2 inches. If you're curious about all the specific ammunition, and I ran in exact groups that they printed, as always, it's going to be an article on rangehot.com. It's going to cover all that stuff. So when you get done watching the video, just remember, y'all, this is just an overview. The article on Rangehot is going to contain a lot more information, so check that out as well if you would, please. Now, I see this pistol serving duty in several different ways. Primarily, I think this will be a really good carry gun. Not only did I use the 2 8-round magazines that Dan Wesson sends with it, but I used a couple Colt Checkmate 7-round magazines, then a couple other extended base pad magazines. Regardless of what mag we were running, what ammunition we were shooting, the gun, it just kept on getting it. Now, a lot of people worry about, well, you know, you got that aluminum receiver, you know, am I going to get an extra wear on my feed ramp and that sort of thing because it is aluminum? But Dan Wesson's got you covered because this pistol is running a fully ramped barrel. And so they've got a cutout in the receiver, I'll show you, and then you got that all steel ramp made into the barrel, and that's going to drastically cut down on any kind of wear and tear you may get, or maybe even possibly eliminate it almost altogether. Y'all, and I mean, there's really not a whole lot bad I can say about the gun. I mean, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm getting about tired of reviewing these Dan Wesson pistols because there's no drama. They just work. I know that's kind of tongue-in-cheek, so to speak, but I mean, it's boringly reliable. It's an attractive gun, and it's what Dan Wesson is calling their duty finish. It's held up well. I realize just a tick over 400 rounds ain't a whole lot, but I feel like if there was a problem with the gun, it would have shown up. However, I have not even field stripped this pistol. So, as always with 1911s, once I get done with the review, what I like to do is I like to detail strip it, get all the parts and pieces laid out, and just kind of give it a good once over and make sure nothing looks kind of weird. So, stay tuned. Okay, y'all, so I got it all took apart, all disassembled. Like I said, this is a really nice 5-inch match grade barrel that is ramped. Looking at the locking lugs here on the barrel, the mating surface on the inside of the slide, no chips or breaks, sear disconnector, hammer hooks. Everything looks to be in pretty good shape. I don't see any kind of abnormal wear. A couple things I do want to point out that I think is pretty cool. Dan Wesson is still using a reduced radius firing pin stop, which does help tremendously mitigate recoil. If you're curious about what I mean by that, in the description below the video, I will provide a link to a really good article that 1911 tuner John Travis wrote for me about that reduced radius firing pin stop. These stock screws, while they are Allen head, and you got to have that Allen head tool to take it out, they do have little O-rings that fit on them, and that's actually a really nice touch because it has, you know, it puts even pressure when you tighten the stocks down, as well as it kind of helps a little bit as a lock washer where they don't try to back off. So that's actually a really nice feature with the O-ring. It's got a really nice trigger, all steel trigger, and it is adjustable for over travel. However, it was really, really nice out of the box, so I didn't fool with it. And looking over it, I don't see anything going on. I know 400 and some odd rounds is not a whole lot. However, if there was something that was either inferior or misfit, not fit correctly, I promise you by now it would have shown up, premature wear. And I encourage people that, you know, when you buy your new 1911, after you get maybe, you know, 500,000 rounds through it, of course you're going to want to clean it. But when you detail strip that gun, pay close attention to all your wear surfaces and your mating surfaces to make sure you don't see any kind of cracking or peening or abnormal wear or uneven wear. That's an indication that there could be an issue with the way the gun is fit. So just bear that in mind, especially if it's a carry gun, self-defense gun. So my verdict is I like the pistol. I think it's a fine gun. As many rounds as we put through it with all the types of defensive ammunition that we ran through it, I would feel 100% confident in carrying the gun. And that's about all I got, y'all. So I know it was kind of brief. I felt like I touched on everything. If you got any questions or whatever, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter. I'll put links to all that stuff in your description as well. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, leave me a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you leave me a thumbs down, let me know why. Subscribe to my channel if you would. That'd be great. Hit that subscribe button. Always remember to go over to rangehot.com. Check out the article there. You can always watch this video. And I'm trying to make a lot of ways where y'all can find me, so we can always have a really good back and forth on the videos and articles that I'm doing. And I do get a tremendous amount of feedback from people that read and watch, and I greatly appreciate that, because I'm just continuing to try to make the videos better, make the articles better, so y'all will keep coming back. So that's about all I got. I'm gonna get back in the house with an air condition and a big old tall glass of iced tea. So y'all take care of yourselves and each other. Look forward to seeing you at the range.